Hello and welcome to the next in our series of our client videocasts, and these are specifically designed for our clients, giving you information from industry experts and leading organisations, really to help you maximise your success as part of your life journey with us. And what I mean by that is we're all steering away through some difficult times at the moment, so having expert advice such as Victoria today, I think should be really helpful as part of your client journey. So I'm Adrian Stalley, Head of Partnerships here at Ultimate Finance, and today I'm joined by Victoria Proud, founder of Change Proud. Vic is a management consultant specialising in business transformation, and she's spent 10 years with Deloitte focused on large-scale people transformation programs, which involve leading the change management and people elements, and is now a director of transformation within Deloitte's tax and legal business. Hope, Vic, I've got all that correct. So yeah. Today she's going to be talking about the challenges of change management, and particularly now, maybe as opposed to the last 3 years, how things have changed over that time as well, and how Change Proud could be one of a number of particular sources or resources of information to really help you, the business owners, navigate your way through these challenging times. So, Vic, welcome.
Thank you.
Change management can be a massively overused term. What is it really?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it probably has been overused, but I think definitely in the last sort of 3 to 5 years, people who weren't really sure what it was or what it could mean to their business had to quite quickly understand its importance. I mean, you know, in its simplest sense, it really is just about helping businesses go through periods of change in order to realize whatever the value or the benefit is that they were trying to achieve. And some of that might be forced change, such as COVID and all the things we've had to adapt to there. And some of it is deliberate transformation. You know, businesses of all shapes and sizes go through change to some degree because, you know, you have to stay relevant, you have to keep moving with the times. Technology moves at a pace beyond anything any of us can ever even keep up with half the time. So change is a constant for all businesses now, I would say, and the need to understand it and be able to execute it, you know, to some degree has become ever more important to survival as a business.
You mentioned, I was going to ask in terms of as headlines, what are some of the examples of the challenges you see that business are now facing that require these change management skills? Are you of the impression that most of those are COVID related, or are there still all that undercurrent of things that happen anyway?
So for me, and, you know, I've done lots of research in this space too, with my time at Deloitte and since Deloitte, you know, COVID only accelerated a bunch of changes that were already happening, in my view. So, you know, working flexibly, the changes to the workforce, the changes to business culture, the changes to having a more dynamic, flexible, agile operating model, all of that was happening. I think it's just massively accelerated the pace at which those things were happening, to a point that now, of course, flexible working, the idea of working from home, the idea of not needing to be so office-based in order to be productive is the norm. And, you know, obviously many businesses have completely changed their whole ethos on that now for the long term. So I do think COVID has accelerated it and brought it to the fore more quickly for some businesses. But these things were all creeping up anyway, definitely.
You mentioned a couple of big things there, flexibility they wrote down, being agile. And I'm sure these are all pressures that our clients, our business owners are feeling as well. So if you had to sort of nail one in particular, what do you think is the biggest challenge that people are currently facing? Would it be that flexibility, the staff requirements, or is there something else?
Yeah, no, I think it is. I think it's the workforce. I think it's about engaging talent in the right way, attracting, retaining the talent that's right for your business, the right people, the right skills, engaging them, keeping that culture that you need in order to keep people working when you're not all in the same room. You know, that has been a challenge. And obviously technology makes that much easier, and we've all got to grips with Zoom and the basics. But there are many other technological innovations that enable people to work really, really well cross borders. I mean, I've only ever worked in international teams for the past 3 years, so I'm constantly with people in, you know, other parts of the world, and it works really well once you're used to it. But most of the clients I speak to, the change piece that they find the most challenging, it's about people. It's not about implementing process and tech. That's underlying what makes things work, but it's actually about engaging people, understanding what's important to them, understanding how to articulate, you know, a new way of doing things in a way that helps people feel engaged, looked after, understood, supported. That's the bit that's the hardest thing, I think.
It's interesting you say we've all got to grips with Teams and Zoom and things. I think it was a bit of a baptism of fire, wasn't it, 2.5 years ago when all of a sudden things switched. But so in terms of, it's brilliant. So they're the challenges that we all face now, and some of these, the change challenges we face. So change proud.
Yeah.
What is it?
So as you said, my background, I was delivering change management for Deloitte Consulting for almost 10 years, and that could be on really, really large scale transformation programs with some of the biggest companies to smaller businesses that just need some help embedding some new ways of working. But the change management discipline is where I've spent a lot of my time. I think the challenge with it can sometimes feel like a bit of an inaccessible, slightly scary, complex, management consulting thing that the Big Four deal with, when in fact all businesses of all shapes and sizes are doing change management, usually to some degree. And change proud was my answer to saying, look, you don't have to go and spend loads of money employing lots of expensive consultants. Your HR teams, your technology teams, other teams internally in business should be able to develop the basic skills to help you get this stuff done better. And once you've got that in your teams, the ROI is so much better for a business because you can implement change, ongoing much more easily without the big cost of consultants. So Change Proud is basically a platform. It's a change management training and resources platform. So, members would come on, you put your team members on, and they can go in, it's on demand training. They don't have to sit in a classroom and take lots of time out of the business. They can go in and out to complete the training as they choose, to download different resources. It takes them through the entire change management discipline, but, at a very kind of easy pace, very accessible. People who don't know anything about change management could come away, really understanding it. And also those who do, but they just need to brush up. I get a lot of HR teams saying, look, we know the basics, but we're struggling with this bit, or this isn't working, or why can we not make this work? So rather than, again, spending money on consulting advice, this is a lifetime access way of just going and getting the resources and learning and knowledge that your team need to start to implement change confidently. That's the biggest part of it.
I'd imagine music to our clients' ears, because as business owners, I think just taking a step back and reflecting on how much all businesses are changing sometimes is quite frightening, and sometimes is lost on that. So in terms of, I suppose, why you created it, you touched there on, I suppose, a resource that business owners, that managers can look at in their own time, as opposed to having to create time in their diary to have consultancy appointments and things, and also on a cost-effective way. So your main drivers for why you created this particular platform in this particular way would be what?
So that all the clients that I've worked with, so that businesses of all shapes and sizes can go and upskill their teams themselves. So it's making change management accessible. It's not, a really complex, difficult topic. You need to understand it. You need to put some time into learning it, like with project management or any of the other, good kind of business disciplines. But it's ultimately, it's a challenge that I've seen time and time again, that it's that one area, often with HR or technology-based teams or admin teams for smaller businesses, that they just don't quite get right. They haven't really had the experience of delivering change. They haven't really been able to learn it. This is giving people that knowledge, knowledge and tools to be able to do it themselves and really get it right, but confidently.
Brilliant. And I guess it's not just business owners, because the need for businesses to change and adapt is very clear. But I guess it's sort of next level down. It's not just business owners that need to change. It's the management structures that have got to go with that journey as well. So this is not just aimed at the top man or woman in the business. This is also aimed at that management level that can then empower them to go and deliver these changes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, it's kind of more, it's teams that have been more the kind of middle manager area, I would say, that have gone on to the platform and found it most useful, because actually they're the guys who are going to go and do the work. They've got to execute on the ground. They've got to write, communications to send out to the business. They've got to think about what training is needed. They've got to probably facilitate leadership to get all aligned around, a particular change the business is going through. So yeah, it's very much, and also you can kind of pick and choose what's going to be most relevant for your business. And I think that's the other thing that, people have found valuable, because a lot of businesses will feel, we are going through changes and we need support, but actually we're not looking at this as a large scale transformation. We just need some best practice help to get this right, because, you know, our people just aren't getting it, and we're wasting time and money not achieving the outcome we need.
Absolutely. No, brilliant. So, you know, we've been talking about this together for some time, and we're a great fan and advocate of what you do, which is why we wanted to take this message out to our clients as well, which is really important. So from what you've experienced so far and the feedback you've had for this particular platform, what are clients liking about it most? You talked about maybe the modular, if I use my words, not yours, the modular approach, they can dip in and out. Is it that, or what are clients liking about what you're offering most?
So one of the key things actually, so it is modular. So there are, you know, 8 succinct modules that are in a sequential order, but as I said, you know, you could dip in and out as you like. Within each module, there is a learning video, which is basically me talking through that module content. And I think that's been one key thing that lots of people have fed back on, because often with this type of topic, if you send your team off to do training, it's hard for them to then apply that back into the business and really get it. Whereas the way I talk through it, I'm talking about it based on real examples, real challenges I've had with different businesses, different clients. And so a lot of the feedback has been, you know, the videos were super helpful because it really resonated with what we're going through. And the second thing would be the on-demand nature of it, as I said. So, you know, teams can just go in and out as they please. They don't have to think, I've got to book 2 days off now for training and I don't have time, because we all know when you do that, it gets pushed and pushed and pushed. You delay it, you don't turn up, because business never stops. We're always too busy to do anything. Whereas this way, you could go in and just say, right, half an hour, I just want to go and focus on this bit, because that's going to be relevant for me this week, for example. And that's it, I think. And I wanted it to be like that. It's got to be easy and accessible for people to just do it as they please, because training, even from my own perspective, I put it off when I know it's a whole day, because I think, oh, I can't, you know, I can't spend the whole day, I don't have time, and then I never get round to it, and it doesn't work that way. It's got to be bite-sized.
Absolutely. As we say, I mean, we're a great advocate of this particular platform and the relationship we have with you in terms of what you're doing. In terms of just some of the wider, as a final comment, some of the wider support structures there, say every business is going through change. Is there any other just comments you could pass from your expertise as a change management expert of what businesses and business owners should be doing? I mean, is it also just to talk? We talk about this world of it's good to talk now about all sorts of things. Is it good just to be able to share their questions and issues? The platform is one thing, but just amongst their peer group and things as well. What other sources of help and assistance are there available to business owners going through these sort of challenges?
Yeah, so I do. I mean, I do think, you know, talking and being transparent is a really big deal. I think leadership teams are becoming more, you know, adept at understanding how they need to show up differently sometimes, how they need to work together and be more transparent and create that culture of trust. You know, and I think there's loads out there now, the leadership development, you know, type of offerings you can go to that don't mean everyone has to go off site, but just different things you can do within your team to figure out different styles, different ways of working, you know, and the impact you have on the business. You know, I think that the days are long gone when what the boss said goes and we just all stand in line, because people will leave now if you treat them like that. You know, people will, it doesn't work that way. You have to earn the right to have their, you know, engagement with you as a leader. And I think that's the right way to do it. And leading through change is just absolutely critical to any business leader, because all businesses are going through change.
Absolutely. And I think, and to come back to this platform, I think the platform is a great source of information. Obviously, it's not the only one, but in terms of something that we've talked about, and it's a really important message that we wanted to take out and share with our clients, because there is not enough of this information around, and to be able to dip into your expertise is great on that side of things. So in terms of the whole service, Vic, really appreciate you taking the time in talking through the challenges of change management today. A message to our clients, if you or any of your compatriots are also having these challenges, I think the key thing we would say as a client of ours, continue talking to your relationship manager. They can answer some of the questions, but more importantly, they can put you in touch with people like Vic in this sort of things, and Change Proud as a platform. Because these levels of support are really out there, and none of us have the textbook to address this. So actually having access to this expertise is really important. So on that note, I hope you found this video cast very informative. All is part of our passion to really add value to being part of our client base at the moment. So on that note, thank you for listening.